Municipal Advisory Council to order. My name is Kevin Evans. I am the chair. In attendance this evening are Dan Lewis, Don Hess, Henry Mayer, and Robert Youngling.
I'm here.
And Melissa Finley.
Sorry for the delay. We had a technical mishap.
Is online. And Dave Spock and alternate Zach Hayward have an excused absence this evening. So that takes care of our call to order and our taking the roll call for the council members in attendance and those online. Okay, anybody in the audience that needs an introduction? So we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. All of you should have received a copy of the November 6th minutes. So, let me back up. I bounced around again. Okay, approval of the agenda. You should all have the agenda in front of you. There are a couple changes that we'd like to make. One is the removal of item 7-1, the CDP 2024-001. And when that comes up, Henry and Robert can speak to that, why it's being pulled. But it appears that the council had taken action on this last year. And they worked with staff and got that cleared up, so they'll be able to shed some light on that. But we will not be reviewing, discussing, and taking action on that CDP tonight. Another item that I would like to add under committee reports, so that would be 10.6, will be the approval of the census designated place designation for Gualala. So I have an updated report on that for you this evening. Are there any other items that we need to add to the agenda? Hearing none, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as modified.
Move to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Lewis, second by Councilmember Hess. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none. The agenda is approved for this evening. Next item, item number 3-1, approval of the November 4th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. You should have received a copy of that. I'll entertain any changes, additions, deletions. If not, I would like to have a motion and a second to approve them.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
We have a motion by Councilmember Mayer. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Youngling. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Okay.
I think by rule you need to state the reason for abstention.
Sorry.
I think by rule, I think you have to state your reason
I
for
was not
abstention.
present at the meeting.
Thought it might be that.
I should have abstained too, because I was not.
Oh, is that approval for the agenda or for the minutes for the last meeting?
Oh, Melissa.
Uh-oh.
It's 3 of them.
So we only have 3, so that's not a quorum to approve the minutes, so we will carry those over to the January meeting.
Yeah.
Approve them next month.
Yep. Municipal Advisory Council to order. My name is Kevin Evans. I am the chair.
3 reports of shooting in the area, 9 security checks, 2 coroner's cases, 3 follow-up investigations, 1 found property report, 4 civil issues reported, 1 burglary, 3 alarms, and 2 911 unknowns.
What is a pedestrian stop?
So normally, like if I want to talk to somebody, we'll call in that, hey, I'm going to be out if they're on foot. So they're pedestrian. I'll let dispatch know, hey, I'm out on a pedestrian stop with so-and-so, and I'll give a description of your clothing. And that may be anything from, hey, you know, we need to keep your dog on a leash on the pier, or, you know, anything like that.
Okay.
Or just, I might be like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? It could be anything. So
Okay.
whether it's an investigation or just like a community caretaking thing, it's all kinds of different stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Anybody else have any questions?
Lieutenant, do you have anything for us?
I don't, sir, not specifically. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lieutenant Lee, I'm the coastal commander. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound like Sheriff will be able to pipe in tonight. I think he might have had some things to share with us. But I didn't have anything specific, I just wanted to make my presence, and I assured you gentlemen that I would be here, and lady, that I would be here whenever I could. You know, I've been on kind of a busy schedule, so try to get down here and attend the meetings whenever I can, and make myself available and answer questions if anyone has them for our coastal sector. So I'll leave it open to anyone that has any questions right now for us.
Sheriff Kendall, do you want to, Melissa, can you go ahead and silence your, or mute your computer?
Actually, can we try one more time, Melissa, to talk? Because she is muted.
Oh, she is muted.
Someone muted me.
All
Done.
right.
Okay, you did it.
We're
Okay.
good, we're good.
Melissa, go ahead and mute yourself right now.
Anything, Henry?
And anyone else who's online
turned off
except
mirroring
Sheriff
and turned it
Kendall,
back
please
on.
mute yourself.
Could be random.
And Sheriff, we're gonna keep our fingers crossed, but the floor is yours.
Okay, can you guys hear me well?
Yes.
We can.
All right, I appreciate my my resident deputy McNally being down there and my Lieutenant Lee. Sheriff's Office, we're still short on personnel. We're working on that. The county with their their carry forward for the year. I don't know if you guys watched the Board of Supervisors meeting. We had somewhere between a $10 and a $12 million carry forward for the year, and so that should be very, very helpful. The behavioral health wing of the jail, that build is still moving along at the progress that we had hoped for. As a matter of fact, it's kind of exceeded our hopes for a government project, and we're looking at early next year being able to get things signed off and do the check boxes on that. Round Valley, we've had a rash of burglaries like you would not believe, and so that's been taking a lot of our time and our attention. We do have some concerns we had some pretty good winter weather. I'm not sure how much wind was blowing on the coast, but I know that it was blowing inland. We lost power for a while, and we had some road closures and things like that. And so I just kind of wanted to throw a little plug out there. When we see Caltrans or Department of Transportation working, or our fire or EMS or the Sheriff's Office, let's be extra careful to cut them a wide swath as we go around them. And then, of course, I think we better be ready for trees and power lines. Let's just all be ready for some winter weather with flashlights, batteries, the things that we need when the power goes out. Anyway, that's about all I've got for tonight, unless anybody has any questions for me.
On behalf of GMAC, please extend all of your officers and staff a happy holidays from us and a safe holiday.
Well, thank you.
And to Lieutenant Lee and Deputy McNally, please be safe out there.
Absolutely.
Have a great holiday, and thank you for keeping us safe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you,
All
Sheriff.
right. Thank you. You guys have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, thanks, y'all, and thank you for bearing with us on
Yes.
the technical issues.
No problem.
Okay, item number 6. Public comment on non-agenda items. A maximum of 3 minutes is reserved for members of the public to address the Gualala Municipal Advisory Council on items not listed on the agenda, and the total time for public input on a particular issue is limited to 20 minutes. The council is prohibited from discussing or acting on matters not on the agenda, but may briefly respond or ask a question for a clarification. Any public comments? No. Anybody online?
Does not look like it.
Okay, moving on. Okay, item 7.1, that was pulled. Henry, you want to give us a quick, brief summary of why we pulled the item?
Yeah, the county had sent this back our way, and Dave inquired with the planner on it as to why this had come our way again, since we discussed it in June of last year. She never really said, she didn't say that there was a reason why we needed to look at it again. I think that there had been a handover in August of that year to the new planner on the project, and she didn't seem to have our comments. So I sent along our comments to her again. She thanked us for that, and as far as we know, at this time, there's nothing we need to look at. It is an updated document. It is not an identical referral as before. Dave asked what had changed, but we don't know. We didn't get a response on what exactly. So it's possible it'll come our way again. We had asked in our initial comments that it come back our way if there were substantial changes. So maybe it comes back again, but at the moment, there's nothing for us to talk about.
Right. Any questions for Henry? And I think, Robert, you also worked on that project as well. Any questions? Hearing none, moving ahead. Old business, we have.
Hang on, Mr. Chairman. What was this that we received in the mail on a CDP dated November 14th? It went to our individual emails, or it did to mine anyway, and it talks about a PG&E CDP. I just brought that along, so I wasn't sure if anybody else.
Is that the vegetation removal?
Is that all it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's one that we already acted on.
We did.
What they're doing is they're notifying
November
all
14th date.
yeah, they're notifying all the property owners
Okay.
in that area that they're gonna be working,
Okay,
because we got one as well.
that's all. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you for that. Anything else? Okay, moving on, we asked them to come back and join us. So we're gonna have an update from the Magdalena Home Project. So please.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here again. Thank you for the time and for the interest.
Go ahead and introduce
I'll start by
yourself.
introducing,
sorry.
reintroducing ourselves. And also for the people who are joining remotely, my name is Felipe Camacho. I am co-CEO and co-founder of Magdalena. Magdalena is a company that has set out to help solve the housing shortage in California and beyond. And we've already made a ton of progress. We have a few homes set up in Anderson Valley, which we welcome people to visit. We're deploying homes in Lake County, 15 units there. And we have been working with this community now for about a month to hopefully set up homes in a property that belongs to Rick Craddy. That's the China Gulch property. And that's a good segue to reading an email that Rick asked me to share with the group. He wishes he could be here. And his message is the following. Maybe while I'll pull it up, I'll let Avery reintroduce himself.
Just to reintroduce myself, I'm Avery Raymond, and I work on the real estate side of the Magdalena Homes business. And I live down in Marin County, and my background is that I'm an investor, owner, and operator of apartment buildings across multiple states. I've been working with the Magdalena team for about 6 months, and Felipe and I were colleagues in an earlier part of our career.
Excellent, thank you, Avery. And so this is Rick's message. GMAC board, I am unable to attend this evening to further discuss the affordable housing project. Felipe has forged ahead with the Mendocino County Communications that he will present to the board. Felipe and Avery have a good handle on the matter, and I trust their presence will be more than sufficient. Thank you, he says. So we're actually going to see Rick tomorrow morning, and so we'll catch up with him in person. And so moving now to a recap of where we are. Magdalena has 4 units arriving in a couple of weeks towards the end of the month. And of those 4 units, we have set aside 1, which would be our pilot unit for Gualala. And in addition to that, we've also identified a first resident for this project. So we're very, very excited about having made that progress. The really big update is that we have started the process with the county. We filed something called a pre-application conference. And so it's a reason to celebrate. It's the first official cost of the project. We cover that fee, and Rick participated in that cost also. And so that kicks off a process that will lead to, we think, a meeting on January 8th. This is a meeting where a number of key, we'll just say, key authorities for this entire project will come together, look at our plans, and provide feedback. And it's a way for us to make sure that we're not taking on a project that's not viable, essentially. That's the key. And so that's the main update. Maybe Avery can kick off the conversation about infrastructure costs and how we're thinking about that at this point. And we would then open it up for questions and discussion on this project.
All right.
So the infrastructure is something that is top of mind for us and for anybody who's interested in this project, right? Because the question is, we can provide the homes, an excellent, housing dwelling, but we have to figure out how can the infrastructure cost be managed. Given that this is affordable housing, we are open to all ideas from everyone here and anyone who may be of the power of influence in the community, because while we are certainly prepared to cover a certain amount of infrastructure costs, depending on the way that the sewer district, for example, decides to charge for, line taps, will be very consequential in terms of whether this will be a successful project or not. So that's probably not news to anyone that, we're not coming in and building a bunch of $2 million homes and can pay like those types of people can. That's not what we're here to build. So, I think it's very important that we're clear with all of you as leaders of the community and council, that is where we could use the most help to make this possible for the community. But we are putting a lot of attention into it, and like Felipe said, this pre-application conference meeting is going to be exceptionally informative, bringing together planning and building services, sewer district, environmental, all these different key decision makers, and it's going to be a learning experience. So, but I think it's important that, we're very clear that we fully identify there are constraints, reasonable constraints that we will have, but we're going to do the best that we can to make this a viable project. But we welcome any ideas, suggestions, and/or assistance.
Maybe while you gather questions and comments, I'll add to Avery's summary. The ramp up in this project could really benefit from some flexibility around infrastructure. If we start with 1 unit, that unit could, in theory, be supported by solar power and a backup generator, which would be a lot less expensive, more manageable for just 1 unit than a full PG&E connection. And so that's an area where the county hopefully will show some flexibility and allow us to start that way. And for water and for sewer, similarly, we could have the use of trucks. So we would truck the water in, truck the waste out, again, with the county's permission. And that's a way for us to get going on this and add some number of units that then allows us to make some larger investments. But even with a set of 20 to 30 units, it is not clear at this point that the infrastructure costs that we have so far been presented with can be covered in a situation where the homes are collecting maybe $1,500 a month in rent. We have to pay for the homes. We have to pay for the use of the land, etc. So this is an invitation to really get your very, very valuable knowledge of the community and experience, etc., into the brainstorming here, the creative thinking, the problem solving. This is really going to be the community's project. It's not just a company coming in and doing something. We really cannot do it on our own. We already know that, and we want to be very clear about that. So, looking forward to getting everybody together to work on this with us.
All right. Melissa, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. I remember looking at the floor plans for the units that you're speaking of. And the first thing I noticed was that there were stairs up to a loft. Do you have floor plans for units that do not have stairs? Because not everyone can handle stairs.
Thank you for that question. This has been a topic for us now for months. We have explored designing an ADA unit. In fact, we were already in touch with an expert who might do that. It is very easy for us to alter the design of the unit. We're very proud to have production capacity that's very flexible. And so if this community wants to come up with a community-based floor plan or any other kind of design modification, we're happy to work with the community on that, and would love to set an example for other communities here by creating floor plans that are more inclusive. And I think there's actually huge demand for what you're describing.
And I would just add that what the stairs enable is more living space, right? To go up to a loft with closets and, many, our existing residents, not all of them, but 2 out of the 3 of them put their beds up there. But others have chosen to use it for storage or to not. It's really up to each user. But we try to maximize the living space that's available, and that's why we have used stairs to date.
Yeah, great point. Just to make sure that's clear, we do have an example of a couple who live in one of our units, and their sleeping space has been set up downstairs, and the sleeping loft is used for storage.
Oh.
Okay.
Robert, do you have any questions?
Similar to last month, I guess, but with regards to infrastructure, which is going to be the biggest hurdle, I have a feeling. Have you met with the Community Services District or talked with the district manager, Chris Troyan, by chance?
Well, we did connect about the first resident who I mentioned, so that came through Chris.
Okay.
But we have not talked about the cost of connecting to
The reason that's why I'm asking is because we have our certain set of ordinances, and I'm wondering how flexible they will actually be able to be when they have a strict set of ordinances and they have to charge a certain amount per hookup.
Yeah, what I know, and thank you for this question, is that there is a sewer line already there.
Right.
And we've gone as far as determining, and this is where Rick could be really helpful, he led this discussion. We've gone as far as determining that that multiple units can share one lateral connection to the sewer line. I don't recall how specific we got in terms of what the total cost would be for the entire project or for initial units. I'm not sure that we have that yet.
I think about the hookup fee is what I'm primarily thinking about.
Yeah.
Right. Henry?
Well, so I chatted a little bit with Chris about this, and he, it didn't sound like the hookup fee was likely to be the biggest chunk of it. He thought it would be the actual labor to dig whatever needed to be done to make a new lateral connection. So he was familiar with a relatively recent project that was, I think it was like 100 feet of lateral line, but putting it in was fairly expensive. So that's what it sounded like to me, was it wasn't so much the fee that GCSD would charge that was likely to be the major expense, but physically putting in a new lateral line when I know one of y'all's sort of value propositions is that this is, at least theoretically, like, could be temporary. It's something that if it doesn't work, then you don't have to keep it going, but obviously the more fixed infrastructure you put in, the less valuable that flexibility is. So it sounded like that was likely to be more of a hang up from my understanding of my conversation with him. But I was trying to get in touch with somebody who had done that recent work and haven't heard back, but I will try again.
Thank you very much for that. It's just to help everybody understand the challenge, we generally allocate $5,000 towards infrastructure per unit. And so in our Anderson Valley project, that was sufficient. We had an easy connection to a well, easy connection to the power grid, easy connection to the septic tank in that case. And so we're going to find out here how much that gets us. Based on our initial look, it looks like this is a little bit more challenging than what we had in Anderson Valley. And so if we get some flexibility from the county, particularly on the power and the sewer front, I think that trucking in the water is going to be fine. Then I think we can have a ramp-up process that's low risk for everybody involved because no major infrastructure investments would be needed. And as we add more units, then many of those infrastructure improvements become very or much more viable.
Yeah, obviously, 3 units, 15 grand, it's harder to do it with 20. Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah, sorry I missed the last meeting and didn't get to ask the questions then. I'm taking from what you're saying that putting a well on the property is not a good option, or have you looked into test drilling?
So we know that there has been an attempt to successfully locate the water source. It was unsuccessful, I can't speak for Rick, but I believe there is appetite for another go at it in another location. We're not the owners of the property, but that's certainly something that we would look to try and do as opposed to storage tanks and trucking it in. That'd be a much better outcome.
Oh yeah, I have a friend who bought some property and they did 3 test wells and one got nothing, one got a trickle, and the other ones get out of the way. So you never know until you actually poke a hole in it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely an appetite for taking another crack at it in a different location. And that was part of what, when we've been to the property and looked at, where the unsuccessful attempt was and kind of where the other identified locations are that could potentially work.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
All right, Don, do you have any questions?
Yeah, well, like Dan, I wasn't here last week either, and I presume you made a presentation with more details about what the units looked like and all that stuff, but I guess I reviewed the information, the recording of last month.
Okay.
I should be able to get that, correct? So all of these would be rental units, is that correct? None of them are purchasable for ownership?
Thank you for that question. We can include purchase options in the leases, and we can also sell the units to anybody that wants to buy them.
But just to clarify, the project that we're discussing here is for long-term rentals, annual leases, ideally longer, right? No short-term stuff. And our, Magdalena Homes owns the homes, writes the leases to the tenants. And we do want to design a purchase option for long-term tenants. But these homes would not be for sale, upfront, right away at that location. But we are selling them, for people who have a place to put them. But that's not what we're doing with this specific, parcel.
Okay, so since they're going to be rental units, I see, okay. Have you decided on a rent? I mean, there's going to be, there's such a thing, of course, as an affordable rent and unaffordable rent. So obviously, I think in our community, we would want to see units that are truly affordable from a rent standpoint. So I presume that would depend, the rental amount would depend on the size of the unit. I don't know if you have different sizes.
Yeah,
I'll
great
figure that out
question.
when I review that material. But in terms of power, I wonder if you've given any thought or whether this would be practical to have some kind of a community solar array, you know, not panels on each of these units. The units are too small to have a lot of panels anyway.
That's right.
So having a dedicated space in this area where there would be a significant number of solar panels, that could generate a fair amount of electricity, although certainly much less in the winter.
Yeah.
So it seems like you would have to be grid connected either way.
Yeah.
So that's a consideration. But if you wanted to take advantage of the solar completely, then you would really want battery storage. Maybe each unit could have a battery or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's something I think would be great if you have the space for it. And will there be some like community areas? I mean, if this space in Gualala where you're thinking of doing this, I mean, how many units in total would you put in?
Yeah.
What is the space? How many could you put in given the space you're working with?
Right. When we first spoke about this with the county, they thought that 20 to 30 units would be acceptable in the space. It's 10 acres, although not all 10 acres are usable for housing. And so some of the topics you brought up, like the amenities, the solar, I'll call it a solar farm on the property, those are all very consistent with our vision for what types of communities we want to help build. And if you do have 20 to 30 units there, it makes sense that there would be all kinds of community amenities, and that makes sense. In Boonville, one of the highlights of the small village there is a garden that one of the residents set up, and it's been a hit. People love it, looks great during the day and at night. And so, yes, that's very much part of the vision. On your other questions about the sizes of the units, so we have a standard size, and our solution for families that need more space is to combine two units. There's a second design that would just be 2 bedrooms with a bathroom combined with the first one, which has a kitchen, to create a living solution for a group of 4 or more people. And so that is our answer to that need. And then on the rent levels, in Boonville, we're seeing roughly $1,500 a month. Now, keep in mind that our part of the solution is the dwelling. We don't own the land. It's not part of the model. And so when we say the rent is $1,500, that has an allocation built in for the property owner, which is not something we control. And so the point there is we're going to see different levels depending on what the property owner needs in terms of monthly payments for the land.
And just to clarify, our model is that we do ground leases, and so we do a revenue share model. So if we charge, say, $1,500 a month to the tenant to rent the unit, ordinarily $400 to $500 of that will be paid for the ground lease for that unit. So that's been our model to date. So it does fluctuate depending on what kind of infrastructure need is possible. What is that capital expenditure that we have to put in to get up and running? So, for example, if we had to spend $10,000 a unit to get the infrastructure going as opposed to $5,000, we would either need to have a break on the ground lease rent, or if that's held constant, then the rent to the tenant might have to be $1,600 instead of $1,500, for example. We are really focused on making sure that it is, an affordable price, an affordable rent. And we don't live here, but we have a pretty decent idea of what is available and how expensive it is if you can even find something. So that is core to our mission, from
staying on that subject for another moment, would there be any protections against exorbitant rent increases once somebody's in there?
So generally, we cannot protect against unforeseen costs that we would have to absorb in the future. For example, if there were various, utility costs that we were covering that for whatever reason, the authority holding jurisdiction says, well, you were paying $100 a month and now it's $300 a month, right? There's gonna have to be some level of pass through, but we are not planning to, raise rents more than, on an annual basis, more than, for example, typical inflation or CPI, just covering general growth, so, usually that's 3 to 5% a year. And, we just have to make sure that, as costs for us may increase, that it's not just a straight negative for us as the sponsors of the project. So, I don't know if I don't believe there's no rent control ordinance, for example, like there are in other cities. But, our goal is we want long-term happy tenants. And you don't build a reputation like that by, just raising rents without any reason, beyond a tolerable, reasonable level.
I'll add to that a lot of the work that Avery does around modeling the financials for this has, we're starting at a level that works. It's not like we're starting at a teaser level planning to increase the rent. No, it's like when we say, yeah, this looks like a good project at $1,500 a month, that's because that level works. It's not, oh yeah, we're gonna make it $1,500 the first year and then the next year is gonna go to 2,000. It's not that.
So your base model, can you just tell me, what square footage is?
Yeah, it's about 300.
300.
Mm-hmm.
But you have other models that are larger?
No, we combine units
to make it larger,
to create more space, and there's a deck. All the units come with a deck that adds some exterior living space.
And those,
Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to add that those 300 square foot units, they do come fully applianced out, washer, dryer, electric stove, stove top, a mini heat pump, air conditioning, and heating. So it's certainly not a bare bones unit. It's fully, it's got everything.
Dishwasher, water heater.
Okay, so you are using heat pump technology. Is everything electric?
Yes.
Yeah.
So induction stove or cooktop?
Correct.
Okay. Then, final question is, can you give me the address of your Anderson Valley place, so if I'm in that area?
It's the distillery, the Boonville distillery right downtown. I'll pull up the address,
They're right behind
the distillery. The owner of
That's all
the
you need to give me.
okay.
Yeah, I can find that then.
Yeah.
So it's right behind the
Right
store?
behind. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And the owner is renting us the space.
Oh, great.
And I promised somebody I would. It's you. Put them in touch with the owner. It was
No.
you. Yeah,
No.
that's right.
Okay,
I
thank
had
you.
asked about that same question, where that was, and I was interested.
Group trip.
There you
I
go.
have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Melissa.
What sort of materials are you using on the interior? Are you trying to ensure that it is non-toxic?
Yeah, that's been a big topic for us too. And so we've designed the home, as we say, to feel very much like a home and not a vehicle. And so when you're inside, you're going to see drywall on the walls, same that you would see in a normal home. And the rest of the materials are what you would find in a normal home. We in the exterior, we use wood composite for the short ends of the unit. The long ends have a metal exterior. And so, yeah, we're not aware of any toxic materials in the unit. That's a great question, but it is.
Are you using paints that are not non-toxic, paints that are zero VOC? Are you making sure that the wood has no formaldehyde in it?
Yeah, In the spirit of being completely accurate, I'm going to verify that and come back to you with an answer.
Okay, because I have, I'm living in a 400 square foot personally designed house. And I made sure that the floor is constructed hardwood, and I made sure that it had no formaldehyde in the adhesives. In the paint, I made sure that there was no toxic VOCs. Everything in the house was personally picked up by me, and I was very, very, very assiduous in making sure that there were no toxic off-gassing, because it's 400 square feet. And I'd already read about the FEMA hot boxes full of formaldehyde plywood and paint that was toxic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because most paints are toxic.
Yeah, I want to apologize because I should know the answer to that question and I don't, so very sorry about that, but we'll come back to you with an answer.
You'll get to find out.
Great.
I just add that our homes are NOAA certified, which means that they do meet many very specific building standard requirements. And so, part of that, and we'll dig into it deeper, is, what are those environmental and material requirements? But it is building to a safe and quality standard is of utmost importance.
Okay, because my house, if I were to pay to get it certified, would probably be at least a silver LEEDs certified, because most building standards in this country have little to do with what is actually is or is not toxic or off gases toxic fumes.
Yeah, that tracks with what I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, one last question. In terms of the insulation, I presume that these units are insulated, they meet Title 24 standards.
Yeah, I don't know the technical language there. They are insulated. There's insulation in the walls. I know my co-founder knows this. I'm sorry, I don't have the answer to that, but I will get back to you on that as well. Yeah.
Robert?
Another infrastructure question. You base this project to date, from what I've heard, on trucking and water, right? Have you got any further update from last month from the county on the water issue? Or the reason I ask is because, first of all, we have the president of the water company, our local water company, in the audience here. And in case you didn't know, I don't know, if it were today that you had to bring water into this project, you'd probably have to get it from Point Arena Water Company, because I don't think the North Gualala Water Company would be able to do it under the current restrictions they're under with the water moratorium by the state. So I want to know if there's anything additional that you know about water trucking in. We've never handled anything at this level, at GMAC level, where we've seen a project that's wanting to bring in water. I don't know if we'd ever be able to approve something like that, or give our advisory recommendation to approve something like that. But I just wondered if there was anything further on the water issue.
Yeah, so trucking in the water is a solution to the water problem, and we priced with somebody that we work with in Anderson Valley. We priced the service, and it came out to be, according to Rick, roughly similar to what he pays for water in his neighborhood, just trucking in the water. And so we know, based on that limited research, that the cost would be okay. That's what we know. Of course, if water were available, our preference would be to just connect to the water system. Yeah, or a well.
So if the county were to set a precedent and maybe allow this project to go forward with trucked in water, would they be doing it for other projects possibly? Because other projects have had to go through the rigorous exercise of drilling wells. And if a well is not gonna be a part of the project, I'm just curious if that maybe sets up a precedent for other folks that have been wanting to build on this coast for decades.
Sounds like you would be an advocate for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, hey, let's open this up a little bit and let other people build too, that have been waiting for the water moratorium to be over with.
I mean, I think, you know, our high level experience in Mendocino County has been that we've spoken to a lot of people who have tanks and they need to truck it.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's that unorthodox of an idea. Of course, you know, from an environmental perspective, it's not desirable because, you know, you're trucking water, you're burning fuel, emissions, etc. But, you know, when you line up the cost for us, if this is what makes the project viable, then we don't see an issue with it as long as we can get the proper blessings to do so.
Okay.
And any path we can take that helps other people, you know, be able to build, if that's something that, you know, is supported, then, I mean, we're happy to help pave that way.
Isn't there a place, there's a house on Highway 1, somewhere near Roseman Creek, I think it's north of it, the place has a Labrador crossing sign, that they truck water into that house, because there's no water on that property, on the west side of 1, rather large place.
I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but it may have been pre-existing to the water moratorium.
It's not a very old house.
And so some people that have water shortages on oceanfront property or in other locations, they have to have water, so this is pre-2008 that they probably were built.
Maybe, yeah,
And
it might be that.
they need water, so
Yeah.
there's instances where that a lot of people do have to get water during the late summer or something like that.
I think that's currently legal though.
That use is legal, that kind of.
I think getting water trucked in is legal. I think that the supervisors considered a regulation around that at the beginning of this year and decided not to implement one.
But in all my years on GMAC, I've never seen a project come before us where they based, you know, this is during the moratorium times primarily, their water source on bringing in water.
Gotcha.
I think the distinction is when the county's approving plans for a new home, I think they like to see that all the needs of the home are solved, including water, and they may not deem simply trucking water to be acceptable, generally, just speculating. But I, for example, for my property in Anderson Valley, I truck in water occasionally in the summer when my tank starts running low. I think that's okay, but I also have a well.
Well, why couldn't you do that here? You're gonna put in water tanks, right? So that's a given.
Yeah.
So it seems like during the winter, normal winter or even abnormal winters, we have plenty of rain. So why couldn't North Gualala Water Company fill up your tanks in the winter months? Maybe that's 8 months out of the year, or maybe it's less, 6 months. At least for that period of time, when there is plenty of water, you wouldn't have to truck in. And only maybe during the summer months, you truck in some water. Try to minimize all that extra CO2 emissions that you're creating by trucking in water.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be.
Excuse me?
Hang on, Melissa, hang on. Don, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm just throwing that as an idea out there. I don't know whether it could be done that way or.
Okay, Melissa and then Robert.
I just got a note that I am under, where I live, a mandatory water
Conservation.
a water thing. That there's not enough water and that we need to, and we're being regulated against using it very much at all.
One idea that we're implementing is separate black water and gray water systems, so that people can use gray water to, let's say, irrigate their garden, to conserve water. And I also think that when people have to pay for their water the way you do when you truck in the water, they tend to be more conscientious about their water use.
Robert?
So my only remark to what you were asking about, Don, was if the subject parcel had an existing water connection, then you could have all those holding tanks filled up with water, I would think.
So there is no
There's no water.
existing water connection?
Correct.
Okay.
No. Yeah. In terms of infrastructure, what's there is just this underground sewer line, and that's it.
Right.
And electric across the street.
Oh, that's a start.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Dan, you done?
Good.
Don, you done? Henry? Great, then I've got a couple questions. I didn't want to interrupt. Okay, so you will be negotiating the leases with the tenants, or will that be the property owner?
Yeah. In this project, what we expect is to be the landlords to the tenants, or negotiating the leases, and then separately negotiating ground leases with the property owner.
Okay. What would you classify a long-term lease?
Well, typically 1 year is what we.
Because I can see people investing, coming here, wanting to move in, and then be evicted. So is the ability to have a long-term lease to be a multiple-year lease, 3-year, 5-year?
I think, our preference would be to do longer term leases. It's to everyone's benefit to get a great tenant who has a vested interest in maintaining the unit because they want to live there for a long time. It avoids unnecessary turnover, it reduces costs in terms of re-tenanting. That is something we are very interested in doing.
The reason I bring this up is because our schools, our medical services, and a lot of our tourist serving businesses here have a hard time keeping employees because they can't find housing for them. So I would hate to have someone come into RCMS as a medical technician and then have a 1-year lease and find that after that year they're gone. So I think for their comfort, it would be nice to have a multiple year agreement would be perfect. So if you guys can factor that in. The other is, after our last meeting, I contacted the county and got a response back regarding tiny homes. Are they allowed? And the response back is tiny homes are not allowed in the coastal zone. So from what I understand from Rick, his property is 50-50. It's partially in the coastal zone and partially out of it. That is supposed to change as part of the local coastal plan that they're going to be doing next year and hopefully be implemented by 2027. I guess my comment to you is when you go talk to the county and you start showing them the property site, I would locate your test plan not in the coastal zone.
Yeah.
Well, the county knows the property already, and they've looked at this. And in fact, when this came up, I went to the county, and I want to pull up what they said about the tiny home question.
Yeah, so we specifically want to locate the homes in the areas that are carved out. So when we talk about it, being roughly a 10.15 acre parcel, but roughly only 5 of it is actually under consideration, so to speak. That's because we know that there are limitations. But what Felipe is pulling up is his conversation with the planner, Matt Goins, specifically talking about this, and it's one of those things that isn't necessarily so cut and dry, is what we've been told.
This is what it is. So he said that there is some truth to the tiny home exclusion. He said official tiny homes are not permitted in the coastal zone. However, mobile home parks that are made up of tiny homes are permitted, and they are viewing this as a mobile home park.
Okay. Good. Any other questions? Well, we look forward to you guys visiting us on a regular basis and keeping us apprised of this. One other comment too, I do know, up and down the, this is Kevin, for those that can't see. One of the other issues is up and down the coast, when we have those dry months, the wells go dry, so I do know that water is purchased along the coast, and I know the Irish Beach Water District sends a lot of water north into Fort Bragg and Mendocino during their dry months, so yeah, there are options, and I think looking outside the box at the ability to create a affordable home and finding the means to provide water and sewer and all the other amenities. Don brought up some with the solar as well. I think it's a good model, and hopefully we can get it here in Gualala and throughout the county.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, really
Thank y'all for your
appreciate it.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? John, do you have a question? Question or comment?
Yeah, I
And,
have
tell us who you are.
John Bauer. I'm also part of the North Carolina Water Company. My thoughts are, we have a couple of inequities in this whole process, and one of them is that if the water company does not serve these buildings or the properties, then there's no fire hydrants for fire protection. And if the fire chief has recommended a certain backup volume to make those fire hydrants work, if there were fire hydrants, that might be an onus on the property owners or builders. Also, I believe there's a requirement for interior overhead sprinklers on new construction. And if that is the case, this is definitely new construction. So how is that dealt with? Those couple items are pretty onerous and difficult. We cannot have the water company supplying fire hydrants to someone who's not part of the district and isn't paying his fair share into the district. That is a real problem. And as these houses start drilling wells and putting their own water service in, we can't ask the fire department to charge them for fire protection if the fire hydrant's down the street right next to their parcel within a certain distance, whether it be 300 feet, 500 feet, whatever. And so here we are with a kind of a conundrum because of the moratorium, and until we can figure out a way to get the moratorium kicked off and dealt with, we've just got a hell of a problem. It's gone on for way too long, and I don't know if the water board will ever see its way through North Gualala's application for its source capacity out there at El Prairie. So, anyway, those are my two comments there, were kind of fire sprinklers and fire hydrants, and obviously these folks, if there's fire hydrants right next door to them and a fire occurs, the fire department's gonna go use it.
Yeah.
And if the fire department uses it and they don't pay any money into the water company's rates, which partly are to keep those fire hydrants up and operational, we don't get a return. So it's kind of ticklish at this point. Anyway, thanks.
All right, thank you. And that, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for adding an issue to our radar. We didn't have a fire hydrant issue on our radar, and part of the pre-app conference process is precisely to bring entities like the fire marshal to chime in on issues like this. And just to be clear, the project wants to pay for everything that it owes. And so if there is a way that we can pay for that, we absolutely would want to build that in. Definitely don't want any free riding on any services in in the community for the sprinklers. My knowledge of the issue there is the NOAA certification ensures that we meet all requirements, including fire safety requirements. And for this type of home, the sprinklers are not required, at least under that NOAA certification. I know the county recognizes the NOAA certification for these types of homes, so it's something that we're gonna wanna explore further. It could be that they're viewed more as RVs than full-blown built homes, and so anyways, I'm sure that will be looked at and look forward to.
Maybe because they have tires, it might be considered an RV.
Exactly.
They're not real property, right? That's the thing. They're not.
Because they're not fixed.
They're not permanently affixed. So it is essentially an RV, a personal property, right? And that is, I would imagine that's the key distinction.
So do you maintain DMV registration on
That's
these?
right. Yep.
Bingo.
They're
Their vehicles.
Yep. Yep.
That's just like my house.
Yeah.
It's technically legal in RV. So I pay the DMV every year for a license for it, even though it's not really, it's mobile, but it's really hard to move. I don't plan on ever moving it.
All right.
And I don't have sprinklers, so they weren't required.
That's right.
Do you guys have a card so I can get in touch with you? No? I was gonna say, or write your number on a piece of paper for me, that'd be great. Okay, any other questions on item 9? Thank you very much for that presentation. Moving on to item 10, Bower Park renovation. Henry, I know you've been in contact with the county, so you want to give us an update?
Yes. So I reached out to Doug Anderson at the county to ask what's going on up there these days. So he said, and I'll quote here, he said, "The contractor has cleared most of the regulatory hurdles, and now that there is consistent work occurring daily, we will be making regular visits to the site in order to provide more regular updates. So far, they have completed most of the demolition work and are preparing for the structural concrete while there is good weather. They are currently rebuilding the spillway crossing and prepping for the baseball backstops." They sent some pictures that are not terribly interesting, but they do show that work is getting done, both on the field and in the spillway. People probably saw in the ICO. People probably saw in the ICO that they demolished the old community building there at the parking lot. So things are happening, not as quickly as I would love to see, but progress is better than nothing, which is where we were the last time we were here, so.
All right. Dan, do you have anything?
No, I've driven by it a couple of times, you can see the playground equipment's gone, the little snack shack or whatever it was up in front is gone. You know, it's moving along, and they took out some trees along the east side of the pond. Took out a lot of brush and stuff around there.
Robert, do you have any questions or anything?
I don't know.
Don? Melissa, do you have any questions or comments?
Is it possible to walk in there yet?
No,
Or
it's all fenced off.
The fence is still there, okay. I'd like to know when I can go up there and walk.
Well, we'll let you know as soon as they give us the green light.
Might be
Okay.
a little while.
Yeah. I got a notice from the county today. They have a survey, a public survey that they're conducting for coastal recreation. So please look for that on your emails and respond, because it'll be important to let the county know what we want as far as our coastal recreation. So.
For it to exist.
Yes, put that on your radar.
And,
Put it in an email.
What's that?
Put it in an email so I'll know where it is.
Okay. I don't know if I could forward the survey to you. Oh,
Forward
Oh,
the URL of the location of the survey. I
okay.
don't know.
Let me see what I can do on that to get that out, because I think it would be beneficial to the county.
Okay,
Henry?
thank
Yeah,
you.
one more thing on that. So I asked that they provide us, like the Bower Park Committee, with weekly updates on what's going on up there, but at least bi-weekly updates. They have not committed to that, but I'm gonna keep badgering them if they don't do it. What's the feeling of the council? Should I forward those along to the whole council, not for discussion, as I get them,
Yeah,
or?
I
Yeah,
would.
please.
As an information item, that'd be great.
Great.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
that way we don't bother Doug.
Okay, will do.
Okay, I know Dave's not here. Do you have anything to report on the streetscape?
So.
Before you do,
Oh, yeah,
I need to excuse Robert, but,
it's just a quick one, but yes.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
good, okay.
And John, are you gonna wanna speak on the streetscape?
No, I don't believe so at this point.
Okay. Okay.
I communicated a little bit with Ted Williams, because the instruction to county staff was to figure out the maintenance agreement within 30 days. That was when the Board of Supervisors approved that maintenance agreement, or for county to pursue it. That was November 6th, which is exactly 30 days ago. So the instruction to county staff was to get that done within 30 days. I checked in with Ted to find out if that had happened. And he said there's been progress. There are draft documents internally, but because there's been an appeal to the Coastal Commission on the project as a whole, that has delayed that process. So I'm trying to figure out if we're still on track or if we have a problem there, and I don't know the answer to that yet. But the county is at least trying to move forward with it, and hopefully they will get it done in time to preserve the landscaping in the project. Given that everybody, all the involved agencies seem to want it, I'm still optimistic that it will happen, but I'm less confident than I would be if they had actually managed to turn that around in 30 days.
Okay, any
all I got.
questions?
Oh, and sorry, yes.
Oh,
I guess the other thing is, I mentioned it, but I did not say it, that there is an appeal to the Coastal Commission. I don't know exactly when they're going to hear that appeal. But when they hear the appeal, they move pretty quickly to resolve it. So hopefully, we'll know more about the project standing in the not too distant future.
Okay, any questions from the council? None? You know, yes, no comment, okay. I had a local resident bring up a good point that I didn't think about. That I'm gonna do some exploring on it, but as you know, we just had our lighted truck parade. And this year we had to change kind of the path of the trucks coming down Highway 1 to accommodate safety and our fire authority approval, and also Caltrans. So we had to route everything down the middle of Highway 1, so it wasn't in the southbound lane, and the northbound lane was still going. So we took up the full length of the street, or full width of the street. So I had a resident express to me that that's something we may want to look at, because depending on the design of the streetscape, is that going to create a problem with the parade? I don't know. I don't think we're going to do anything to halt the project, but that was a good point to factor in that, oh yeah, at one point with the new routing of the parade, it's going to go right down the middle. And, but I know it's a hardscape, if I'm not mistaken, in the center lane. So it's not anything that's any raised vegetation beds that are gonna create a problem, but but I appreciate the comment, because it wasn't something that I even thought about till after we rolled trucks down the middle of the road, for the lighted truck parade. Yeah.
Was that safety concern about proximity to pedestrians?
Yes.
Because I do wonder if the 5-foot bike lane gives enough buffer, that closing down one lane of traffic with the bike lane means you can keep rolling down a single lane.
That's a good point, because we use delineators and caution tape in front of Surf and also in front of the hotel to keep people, allow them to flow into the street area, but keep them back at a safe distance. So using the bike lane as a designated boundary, that might work, as far as putting up any safety measures to keep people from wandering onto the middle of the street. That's a good point. Thank you. Robert?
Yeah, Kevin, that was a good point there. Not to mention, besides the bike lane, the sidewalk will help keep the pedestrians a little bit more organized along the route of the parade.
Right. Thank you. Okay. John?
If I'm not correct, that's fine. If I am correct, this is a problem. And you know that Robert has been forbidden to discuss the streetscape at your GMAC meetings. We just did.
Right. I think it was more in reference to the safety factor of the parade and his comment regarding the safety of the pedestrians. It wasn't addressing specific aspects of the
I understand the
streetscape.
parade part, yes.
Right.
But he didn't take his seat back, and so I figured he was still he was still forbidden from discussing that.
Okay.
I know with the streetscape, from what I see, the lighted truck parade may come to an end. There's just no place for all the people that need to be out there in a short little distance for them to back up onto the properties with vegetation and only a small sidewalk. So I think that's a difficulty that we may have to gulp down with the streetscape or try to find our way around. And I bet there's a way around to be able to do this. And I hope that doesn't cease the truck parades, typical right after Thanksgiving, and everybody's enjoying that. So, and I don't know whether there were 200 or 300 or 400 people there, but I suspect there were quite a few more than 200. And that means they have to park too. And when we start taking parking spaces off the street, which are about 92 that I've told you about before, that Caltrans said would be removed with the streetscape project, where are they going to park? Are the individual properties going to allow them to park for the parade? And it's pretty obvious that a couple of the businesses that are normally open during that maybe 6 to 7 o'clock hour while the truck parade's going on, definitely have some interference with people to be able to park and go to those businesses at the same time other people are parked there to watch the truck parade. So, you know, those are growing issues. We are still a growing town. We still have a lot of issues, and the streetscape is one of our big ones. And I think that the fire department has finally looked at maybe reading the streetscape and understanding what it really means to them when they go barreling down the street with their sirens on and going to a fire. And then the other part of this is this building right here, all the emergency response ambulances that come out of here that go up and down the street, whether it be down to Sea Ranch or just down into downtown, they also may not like the raised islands out in the middle if they can get around them without being raised is just painted on the street. That might be a better safety issue done that way than leaving it with really high mountable curbs that cause the vehicles to slow down to a creep to get over them, especially the ambulances. And if they can't get over them, maybe we shouldn't be building that part the way Caltrans has set it up. And I know that during the previous meetings with Frank Demling in the process of bringing the streetscape up, you know, there was a pretty decent discussion about can we put plants out there, you know, have vegetation, native vegetation in the middle of those, I want to say, protection zones where people have to cross at those 5 crosswalks, and there's going to be a bulb out there to keep them safe if they're halfway across. That's going to confuse the hell out of people driving up and down the road. Wait a minute, somebody's in the crosswalk. Oh no, they're not. Oh, they're in a protected, you know. This is, I don't think it's been thought out completely. So we still have a lot to do. And there's a lot of thinking, and Caltrans needs to bring it to us, not just put it in their pocket and tell us this is what we're getting. So thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from council? Nope. Okay, that closes that item, Robert. Welcome back. They're moving forward, the county's moving forward with the local coastal plan and the town plan update. One of the key issues that I'm hoping that they address is, and I didn't realize, is that there are no ADUs or junior ADUs allowed to be constructed on the west side of Highway 1 in the Gualala town plan. So
The existing plan.
yeah, the existing plan. So that's one of the items that I think they're going to be addressing is allowing people the ability to expand. So it's going to be really important for all of us to be involved in the development of the local coastal plan. I know Grassroots Institute is very heavily involved, so yes, I know David is representing us, so we'll look to him to keep us informed and involved in the process. Economic development, Robert, do you have anything?
I don't, Kevin. I don't have Kevin keeping up on that lately.
Well, my only point is, I think for our economy, the lighted truck parade really helped because a lot of the businesses, the restaurants, and some of the smaller shops stayed open. I know Four Eyed Frog had some activities going there. I saw Surf Market, they had their barbecue going in the early stages of it. So it brought some visitors to the area to spend their money and support our local economy. So I'm hoping that maybe we develop other types of events and programs that will generate people from outside of the area to come and spend their money here in our beautiful town. So, any questions, comments on economic development? None? Henry, website, social media, telecommunications, community broadband access. And I guess the first thing we can do is remove Mr. Hess's name off that for future meetings.
Yeah, anybody want to join me on this committee with Mr. Hess's departure? Anybody?
If I had expertise,
Maybe
if you can teach me some stuff, I would help.
If you want to join, I will happily have you. Otherwise, I could probably bully Zach into doing it. Given that he's going to be, because when he refused the first time, he thought he was leaving.
Yeah,
and since he's not,
bully him.
But if you want to join,
no, it would be Zachary didn't, I would
Okay.
get my old mind to understand some stuff.
Doesn't the committee have conscription rights?
I believe, the chairman has conscription rights.
Okay, volunteer is a transitive verb.
We can, I can rock solo for another month, and then maybe, when Zach's back, we can figure it out, and see what his willingness is. Otherwise, clearly just totally seamless, tech work by me today. Sorry about all that. I think at least some of that wasn't my fault, but some of it was.
You solved it quickly.
I guess, sort of. So anyway, thanks everybody for bearing with me on that. Otherwise, I think the only thing really to discuss on this is the equipment questions. So the first one is, did we ever hear back from the county on the reimbursement that we already voted on for all the equipment that we're already using of Don's?
They acknowledged receipt of the information and it sounded optimistic, but I haven't heard anything more. I can bug Danielle and see what she's got.
Don, do you mind if we wait till we hear back from the county and then hand you a check once they, I assume they're gonna do it.
As long as if I needed to use it at some point, which is not unlikely.
Yeah, if you do, it's yours. I mean, it's your equipment. We haven't bought it from you,
But,
so.
yeah, no problem. Keep using it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that,
Sure.
that loan.
I don't want to leave you in my lurch.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and I'm not eager to shell out the money out of pocket until we know from the county that they're gonna pay us. And then, so there's that, and then there's the video piece, which, so I think, sort of chattering about it, we've got, I think, three possibilities. One is like buy a camcorder. Another is buy a webcam and see if that works even at a substantial distance, because they're not really meant for a wide shot. So we need a little research to figure out if that's viable. And then the other is, since GCSD has a camera on the screen that's clearly for meeting setup, whether we can talk to them and hopefully use their equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that should probably be plan A.
I think that is USB also, so I'm not sure if it would, the USB cable will work.
Gotcha. And so, so the hookup to this system was, you said, through HDMI?
Yeah, that's what I was using, HDMI. And then
Just into
even
the-
for that, you needed a little adapter piece that allows it to work with Zoom, that lets Zoom recognize it.
Okay.
You
And-
can't just plug HDMI in there. Well, you don't even have an HDMI port there.
No.
So, yeah, it'd have to be through USB. Actually, you need the USB-C adapter to USB-A, and then this device plugs into the USB-A port.
Which I have.
Oh, you do,
Oh.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
you just need another one of those. You already have one, you have a free port, so
Yeah.
you got space for a second
great.
adapter.
Okay, great. So I just, so let me pursue that first. I'll see, the agency basically, will Zoom work with that, which I assume it will, because that's gotta be what that's for, is meetings, but maybe different software, but, so,
Yeah, no, I mean, that whole setup is not for a Mac. That's the
Yeah.
PC setup.
okay.
Right.
So I'm not sure whether that video camera, if you just plugged it into a USB-C port, whether that would be recognized by Zoom, I have no idea.
All right.
The other question is, the distance you can go with a USB cable.
Yeah, and then also, generally asking GCSD if they're even cool with us using that piece of equipment. I would imagine they are, but we would.
We
ask
should
first.
ask, because if we break it, we bought it.
Yeah,
Well, they let us use the TV. It shouldn't be an issue at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
we're using the TV.
sure.
The only question is, we would probably unplug that camera and then,
And then bring
there
it
is a
over here.
cable back there.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it is, but.
Oh, so we can put
Maybe
it on.
we'll take a look at it after the meeting.
okay, great. Okay, so we'll, so I think if that is a viable option, then hopefully I can get that squared away and we can just have it for the next meeting.
Okay.
If it isn't, I don't know if we want to generally discuss without sort of formal action, but discuss like what we're willing to spend on a piece of video equipment. If it turns out that's not a viable option, or we could just.
Why don't you research it and bring it back rather than have a.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like probably for something in the realm of $100, $150, I could get something that would work, I think.
Okay.
I don't know if that sounds right to you.
In terms of a camera?
Yeah,
What kind of camera?
a pretty crummy camera.
I'll let you guys talk.
Do you think I'm like way off?
Robert, this is why you and I aren't in this.
I kind of gathered that, yeah.
The other reason I opted for a camcorder was because this, you can plug it into power source. It has batteries too.
Uh-huh.
But when you plug it in power source, it's unlimited.
Yeah.
And since you're not really recording it to an SD card or anything, you're just feeding the video into your computer, then it can go indefinitely.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you want, because you don't know how long your meetings are gonna last and that kind of thing. Now, before I got the camcorder, I used the iPhone, which sort of worked okay, and the image was not as good.
Yeah.
The camcorder is a much better image. But the problem is sometimes that iPhone didn't work. And I think it's because of the distance, again, to use it in that manner, it was a little bit too far away. You know, sometimes it worked, other times it didn't work.
Gotcha.
I do think, the best solution is the camcorder, and if you can find an old one, I mean, there's lots of old ones around.
Yeah.
The issue then is, does the old one have HDMI port where you can plug in this cable directly in there?
All right. Well, okay, so we'll take a look, and I'll come back to the next meeting if we need to make a purchase with an estimate, and then we can go from there.
Check out Pay and Take.
Yeah, maybe Kevin, you could ask David at Pay and Take, see if anything's coming in, or if anything does come in.
Okay, I'll have you keep an eye out.
They seem to get almost everything there at Pay and Take eventually.
Well, a lot of people are
Look, Henry got
updating,
this nice-
updating their equipment, so
Yeah.
that's,
Exactly. I mean, Henry got these nice headphones there.
Dan?
I got a couple of GoPro-like cameras. Would those do you any good?
Well, GoPro, again, there may be a battery issue. The question is, can you use a GoPro wirelessly? Or do you need a wired connection?
I don't know. I've never used them, so they're still new in the box.
Yeah, it could be looked into, GoPro, I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're just sitting in my garage doing nothing.
Maybe after everyone gets their brand new Christmas video cameras, they'll donate their old ones to Pay and Take.
There you go.
Can you,
Apparently you can set it up as a webcam.
Dan, can you get one of your GoPros to Henry, and then Henry could test it out?
It's not a GoPro brand, but it's
Oh, it's
something
not.
like, the thing you put on your hat or whatever.
Oh, I see.
So do you guys want to kind of discuss this offline?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, great.
Okay, item 10.6, the census designated place. First, I'd like to give a big shout out to the ICO for the excellent story that they did. And then also congratulations to GMAC. Because when the building burned, the community center burned down in 2023, and the community was looking at ways to raise money to build that building back, designating it as a resiliency center was one of the key components that resonated through this whole community. Then we found out, obviously, that we didn't qualify because we were not a census designated place, we were a census block. But it was GMAC that took the lead and said, let's work with the county, let's get this done. And we did. On January, we just got notice in November that as of January 2026, we will be a census designated place, which is great, and that's kudos to all of you. What that's going to mean is we're going to be eligible for federal, state, and local or in county grants to help with our infrastructure. So I think we're headed in the right direction. We will have accurate numbers of our residents. It'll help South Coast Fire Protection, and it'll also help Coast Life Support to know how many people are in their sphere of influence, because there really isn't an accurate number right now. And I would venture to say there's probably more people that are using their services than they're collecting money for. So it's a good situation that we were able to champion from the beginning, kind of like Bower Park. We took on the Bower Park as well, and we got 2.2 million. So if anybody questions the viability of GMAC, well, there's two good reasons right there on why we're here serving our community. So congratulations to you guys.
Chair,
Yes.
I really think we should be congratulating you. I think you took the lead on that, and so
Yeah.
I think we all deserve you thanks.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Plus, you wrote a letter to the ICO that translated the article into understandable way to look at the situation, so people got a better handle on what went on.
I do have one bit of bad news. You start with the good news and you end with the bad, right?
Save it for the next meeting.
Yeah, really. I did ask Julia Krog to share with us what the boundary lines were that were the final boundary lines established as far as this CDP. And she came back to me and she said, they don't know. The staff person that was heading up the project retired, and they don't have access to the old files, so they're not sure what file was, or what plan that was submitted for approval. The direction from the county is that we'll all find out in January 2026.
What a system.
So
How could they not know what they submitted for approval?
well,
That's what got approved is the question.
the problem that we ran into is staff submitted just the Gualala town boundaries. They did not submit the boundaries that we discussed at our meeting, and the expanded version that included Iverson and all the way up to Old Stage and beyond Old Stage. That wasn't the way the packet was originally submitted to the US Census Bureau. But based on our comments, they sent a revision of what they would like to see as the boundaries for our census designated place. So the county does not know which one of those plans was finally approved. So I guess we're all going to be in a wait and see, but we will be shortchanged a lot if they just keep it within the Gualala town and not the sphere of influence for both GMAC or South Coast Fire Protection District, which probably numbers a lot of people. And I know that all of you already know that the inequities of the census data collection, that the census information is not given to people that have a PO box. You have to have a fixed address. So anybody who has a PO box does not get a census form to fill out.
What? That's a load of bullshit, because we can't get our mail delivered to us because the town is too small.
Bingo.
Anyway, so what happens is The Census Bureau then has to send canvassers to go out and knock on the doors of people that have PO boxes and not have a fixed address. So
That sounds like a Herculean labor.
it is, but I think we're headed in the right direction.
Oh,
So
yeah, but it's gonna be a slog.
it
Well,
is.
they
I
did it in
don't-
2020.
I have a question.
Yes,
If we weren't already a census designated town, then where did the number 2093 come on the town sign right just south of us and north of us?
Henry?
Didn't we used to be a census designated place?
No, we've never
No,
been.
never even in 2010? Why did I think that we were something in we were a census
Block.
tract in 2010?
We were a census block.
Okay, as I remember it, it was that we had been something else,
We are.
and then
we are
it got
part-
dropped in 20.
No,
nobody
we have
noticed.
always been part of the Mendocino County Census Tract,
Okay.
which took in everything from Manchester all the way to the unincorporated areas around Point Arena, with the exception of Irish Beach. Irish Beach is a census designated place, but all the way down to all the way down to the river, that was all lumped into one Mendocino County Census Tract.
How did Anchor-
And Melissa, to your point, a census tract incorporates clusters of census blocks. So we were a census block within the census tract for the county of Mendocino, basically for the South Coast, with the exception of Point Arena and Anchor Bay.
So it's really incorrect. Gualala doesn't have a population of 2,093. The census block has a population of 2,093. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. And so what
Okay.
we're finding now is that we probably have more than that number.
Yeah, because if they're not counting the people who live in the little place I live, where everyone gets a post office box.
Yeah.
Actually, most people who live in Gualala get a post office box because the post office doesn't deliver anywhere except right where you can see from out the door of the post office, right? Like Sunstrom Mall.
Yeah. So, any questions on that? I think I kind of beat a dead horse there, but,
Yeah.
Oh no, the horse was quite lively.
yeah, but, it just shows what we can do as a community, that we can make things happen. We got a resident deputy, so
Yeah,
look at the things we've got. And Don got the road paved in front of his house.
I noticed that, I
Right
noticed
in front of
that,
his place too.
and it's nice
It
too.
does pay sometimes to contact your supervisor.
It
It
does.
does. Kevin,
So we'll know from the US Census Bureau if the revision from the county was the one that they finally approved in January.
In January. So they shared with me that once they have a staff in place, they'll kind of try to do some legwork on that. But with all the holidays and everything, I have the feeling it's gonna be January.
Yeah. Thanks for your work on this, and now you really know how hard it would become a city, huh?
That's true.
Jeez.
John, you had a comment?
That's just a real brief one. In that census block county, how is a B and B treated? Is it the owner, if he has a home someplace else, is not counted?
No, because it's each property. So it's based on your property form, or your property tax form. So each parcel has your number, and then they can look at that and see which are in.
So the owner of a B and B is still counted in?
Correct.
Good, thank you.
Anything, Dan?
how on earth did Anchor Bay become a census designated place with a standing population of about 176 people?
Well, we want to get out of here before 10 o'clock, so
Okay,
The,
there's a story there that probably involves distilled beverages, so.
It's been there a long time.
good point. But I will say that when I first started researching this, I went all the way back to the 2000 and the 1990 census. And we've always been a census block and a census tract for the county, which I couldn't understand. So I would suspect that's 1990. I would suspect that it's probably been that case for quite a while. And all of those indicated Anchor Bay as a census designated place. So probably someone knew someone. Henry?
On where the number comes from, the number on the sign is from the 2010 decennial census, and it's for the zip code, for 95445. But apparently the sign never got updated because it's got the 2010 number. The 2020 number, for any curious, is 2,362.
That makes no sense at all because Anchor Bay has the same zip code.
I agree. I'm just telling you what the census says.
See? So we're hoping to unpack everything.
Yeah.
Treasurer's report.
No,
Okay. I have,
other than Don's pending request for the AV equipment.
okay. I have one comment for those of you that sat through the last Board of Supervisors meeting that was talking about the appeal and the conversation there about the streetscape and the landscaping. It was brought up that it was going to cost $2,500 a year to maintain the landscaping on the streetscape project. And that was presented by staff. Our chair, Supervisor Hashak, suggested taking the $2,500 out of GMAC's budget to pay for the landscape maintenance of downtown. So,
I mean,
but
if you go to a
that
supervisor
kind of
happen.
died for lack of interest.
Oh.
But just to let you know that they were looking to our budget, and that's why I brought it up on our treasurer's report. They were looking at our budget as expendable, and we could pay the maintenance costs to maintain downtown Gualala streetscape landscaping.
It seems like a
is that-
very reasonable amount, 2,500.
It's very reasonable. I'll donate
It
my,
seems low.
I'll
It's
donate
just
my
steal it from
GMAC
GMAC
salary
budget.
to that.
Yeah,
Is
it
that
was,
because we
it was
don't-
nice because we heard different prices from as high as $30,000, I think.
Yeah,
when
which is
Yeah.
we
ridiculous.
first started talking about the
Well,
maintenance of it, so,
You may recall I got to the bottom of that one,
yeah.
which was.
So is our budget vulnerable because we don't drain it every year?
You
It's,
know, I hope not.
I think it was just, I think that was just chatter.
Yeah,
If he wants to pursue it, he can, but I didn't see any interest.
yeah, and I don't think that, because they've got a couple items that they want to push through, like putting a 1% tax on, for road maintenance, on sales tax. They want to increase that to pay for the roads, so one of the.
Would that need a vote?
Yes, it will need to go to a vote. If it's written by the Board of Supervisors, it takes 2/3 vote. If it's written by a community group, it's a simple majority. So I'll keep you posted on that because they're looking at trying to figure a way to pave the roads, but have us pay more money. At my discretion, I'm going to alter the order of 12.1 and 12.2. I'm going to first go to 12.2, and date of our next meeting, lo and behold, falls on January 1st. And I would suspect that none of you want to meet on January 1st. So my question is, what do you want to do? Do you want to cancel the month of January? Do you want to postpone the meeting to January 8th, realizing that that will be the election of our new officers for the January meeting? Henry, you want
I
to come on the 1st?
No, God, no. Y'all can meet on the first if you want. I will excuse myself. No, I think, given that the first meeting of the year has officers and just, a certain amount of overhead already, I'm not eager to push that to February, where then we're likely to have a backlog of CDPs as well. That just sounds like a slog of a meeting. So I would prefer personally to do it on the 8th rather than cancel the meeting entirely.
Okay. Dan?
I concur with January 8th.
Okay. Robert?
I say we keep it January 8th, yeah.
Melissa?
I wouldn't mind if we met on the 1st, but the 8th works fine too.
Well, if we meet on the 1st, then we're all coming over to your house, so.
Y'all won't fit. And you're not allowed, no one's allowed in my house unless they're wearing a properly fitted N95 mask.
Okay, so I gather that the consensus is January 8th. So we will go ahead and post that, that we will be going dark on January 1st, and we will reschedule our regular meeting for January 8th.
Do we know if the room's available?
No, we don't. I'll check on that. So January 8th, pending room availability. Or we'll meet at Melissa's house.
You'll have to stand out in the yard. There's not room in my house.
If it's not available on the 8th, then we will post, do we want to shoot for, let me do this. Let me see if the 8th is open first. If it's not, if you trust me, I will find an alternate date and just send out an email to everybody to see if you're available on an alternate date and time. You good with that?
Sounds good, yeah.
Okay.
You could even have it meet earlier during the day. You might actually see me in person for a few minutes.
Well, we have one person here that works for, two people that work for a living.
Yeah.
In Zach and Henry, so.
And me.
Oh, and Robert, that's right. So we have people that work during the day, so probably wouldn't work. Dan Lewis, would you do me a favor?
Sure.
Could you take a photo? Mr. Hess, would you please come up here? Mr. Youngling, would you please come up here as the vice chair?
Sure.
Excuse myself.
Recuse.
No, you're right here in the middle.
Okay.
A flower between two thorns. We have, if you don't know, Don Hess will be stepping down as member of GMAC, effective January 1. And we're very thankful for what you've done for us all these years. And I don't recall this ever being done before with anybody stepping down, but we have a certificate of appreciation.
Printed in color.
Printed in color. Yeah, I have to buy a new cartridge. But it says, Gualala Municipal Advisory Council recognizes and appreciates Don Hess for his council membership since 2019. Man, it seems so long.
It does. It was another world back then.
Thank you for your many contributions to the communities of Gualala and the south coast of Mendocino County, and for your accomplishments on GMAC, including conducting development referral reviews, enabling teleconference participation in public meetings. Boy, that's huge. Modernizing the GMAC website, and thoughtful civil partnership with your GMAC colleagues. With the highest regards and best wishes for continuing success in your public service endeavors. Kevin Evans, this date, December 4th, 2025. Don?
Thank you,
Thank
Kevin.
you very much.
Thanks, Don. You've been around since 2019. I remember you coming on, and it was a godsend for GMAC to have you. You are definitely one of the most honored past GMAC members that I can think of, and I've been on GMAC for a long time too. So thank you very much.
Well, I really appreciate this little honor that you've presented me with. Wasn't expecting this.
You're not
But,
supposed to.
it's nice to have, I guess. And yeah, I mean, it's been, an experience for me, one of my more important life experiences here on the coast since 2019. And I've learned a lot, really, about how a advisory council like this works within the context of county government. And I think one of the most important things that I learned in my time here on the council is what the hell is a neg dec? A negative declaration. I never knew that. I had never heard of that term before. And it's kind of funny because it's counterintuitive what it is. You know, you think negative declaration, it must be something bad. But no, it's positive if you want your project approved, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
that was an interesting thing that I learned about, as, you know, of course, a lot of other things too. But I've appreciated certainly working with all of you. I think that all of us here, you know, given the time that we dedicate to this, it's volunteer time for all of us, which is important for the community. And I'm glad that I presumably will be giving up my seat to somebody younger. I think that's really important in this day and age, that we get younger people more involved with not only local government, but state and federal government. I think it's time for older generations, where possible, to move on and let younger generation people get the experience that they need, and also contribute to the decision making, because the future is really more for them than for somebody like me. You know, in decades ahead, whatever decisions we make today will be more important for them than for the older generation. So I'm glad about that we should have younger people taking on positions in this council and in other areas of government. So,
All right.
anyway, thanks a lot, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you
You're
very
here.
so much. Okay, so with that being said, I will be sending a communication to our supervisor, notifying him that we do have an opening with Don's resignation. And also, at the Board of Supervisors meeting this last time, they did not take action on our bylaw change. So I'm hoping that it shows up in January for their Board of Supervisors meeting, or actually could possibly show up in December. I don't know. I'll keep an eye out for that. In any case, we do have an alternate in Zach Hayward. He is not leaving. He notified us that he's able to stay. And I do know that there's some other individuals in the community that have expressed an interest to apply for GMAC. So I would encourage anybody that has contacts with any and all of these individuals, or if you know of anyone else, it would be nice to have them on the agenda in January, so we don't lose our continuity, and have our supervisor appoint a regular council member and 2 alternates to give us a full complement of GMAC representatives. Dan?
Did that fly through with, 2 meetings ago, we discussed that, adding an additional alternate
Correct.
and so forth. Did that go to the supervisors, and what happened to it?
The copy was sent to our supervisor, Ted Williams, and it was also sent to county council. County council reviewed it and said they saw no problem with it and would be happy to draft the language as part of an introduction of that item. I would suspect, because of the nature of the request, there's nothing controversial about it. It would probably go on the consent calendar. So maybe their consent calendar was overloaded. I don't know, but we'll stay on top of it to see if we can get it done in December, and then Ted could appoint a new council member to replace Don's seat and 2 alternates.
To that point, I'm curious because isn't the fact that Zach is an official alternate, doesn't he just automatically?
That was a question that we had pursued, and according to our supervisor, each one is a separate appointment, and they have to open it up to anyone. So anybody who submits an application to be considered, they can be considered for a regular council member position. And then at that point, the other applicants, if we have 3, one would be appointed as a council member, and then he would appoint the other 2 as alternates. So it's not a rubber stamp. It's not that Zach has been our alternate, so he automatically steps into it. It has to be an official appointment by our supervisor with approval by the board.
Usually consent calendar.
Yeah, exactly.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that another applicant can fall into a council member's position ahead of Zachary. That could happen, huh?
It could.
Any person that submits an application is eligible to be a member of the council. Then once that seat is filled, then our supervisor would then look at the remaining applicants and fill 1 or 2 alternate positions.
So I think Zach will probably need to apply to be a full member if that's what he would like to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in the meantime, since he is the alternate, he takes my position.
Right,
Yeah.
until your seat is filled.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Or he sits in for anybody who happens to be
But
absent.
my question was, if other people are applying for a regular position, they could actually become a member ahead of Zachary.
Correct.
Even though
Correct.
in the olden days of GMAC, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think the procedure was not as clear. In the old days, it was, hey, we've got a warm body,
Right.
so we'll appoint them. Now with more and more interest, they need to follow the procedures.
Interesting.
And I'm
But
sure
it's kind of not fair to somebody like Zachary, who's been an alternate all along.
Right, but the other part of that is, let's say Zach doesn't want to move up to a regular council member seat. You want to make it available to anybody that applies. So by advertising it as being an open council member seat, and that'll be something that the county, as part of their advertising, they will advertise on their website. I think there are 3 openings on GMAC, 1 regular and 2 alternate, or 1 alternate position. Because someone may just apply to be an alternate and not want to be a full
Right,
council
I
member.
understand that.
Yeah,
Right, but it seems to me that the Board of Supervisors would see his past service and would be inclined to maybe appoint him.
I would suspect that
Okay.
would probably be the
Okay.
recommendation that our supervisor would make to the board.
Yeah, that's all I was gonna say. Is I think if he applies, if he wants
If he
to,
applies.
that's one of his qualifications is he's been serving as an alternate, and I would imagine that will factor in.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then, just for the record, I applied to be an alternate, and they made me a member, so
see,
they can do what they want. Yeah, I let Tom bully me into applying as an alternate. And then by the time they were processing that, I think a vacancy had opened up and they made me a full member.
well, congratulations.
Thanks.
Maybe, right?
No, I accepted it.
Okay. What I thought would be a short meeting turned out to be a little longer. Anyway, Don, thank you for your service. Melissa, thank you for attending. Good to see you. Hope you're on the road to recovery.
Don't know yet.
So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
to
I'll
the-
make a motion that we
to the-
adjourn.
She's the one that does that all the time.
Right, hang
That's
on.
my job.
But what I want to do is make sure that I clarify that want to adjourn the meeting to January 8th, not January 1st.
Sorry, are we not doing council member comments?
Oh,
Sorry.
it's not on here. Oh, it is, sorry, go ahead. We'll go around the table. You want to start?
Sure, I just wanted to say my own appreciation to Don. Thank you for all that you've done. I want to say how good it is to see Melissa here. Melissa, you are looking very well. It puts a smile on my face. Really good to have you here. And then I want to say thanks to Kevin and his crew for a great lighted truck parade. That was super fun. As the proud parent of a 5-year-old, it's a great event. He was delighted. So thank you so much.
Excellent. Dan?
It's been a good year. I'm looking forward to 2026 with this group. And let's keep this going. We're on a roll.
We are. Outgoing member Don Hess, do you have any final council comments?
Well, I sort of already made a comment there, so
Okay.
I guess I don't have.
Melissa?
I was driving around town and I went up to the parking lot at RCMMS and immediately thought about Don Hess because they have EV charging stations up there.
They do.
Oh, up at the old Ayurveda place?
No, at RCMS.
RCMS and the
Yeah,
parking
they've
lot
got
Several.
uphill,
Yeah, I think they have 4.
Yeah, right up there.
Yeah.
right across from where you're meeting.
Yeah.
You could have parked your car there and charged it while you were in the meeting.
That's true. Good point. Robert?
Oh, just tag on to what you guys have said. I'm gonna miss Don dearly. He was a great person to have on GMAC for all these years. And it's nice to have Melissa feeling better. And I just love to see the way this continues to evolve, this GMAC, over the many years I've been here. And it's all meant in a good manner for the good of the entire community is how I always look at it. And I just hope we can keep this going.
I believe
Me too. Here, here.
And I echo what everybody says, with only one added addition. We won't see anybody till 2026. So, yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, wow. So, for Sylvia and I, we wish all of you a very happy and safe holiday and Happy New Year. And yes, we will come together again and we'll have to figure out how to write 2026 rather than 2025. Okay, Melissa, floor is yours.
I make a motion that we adjourn
All right.
Until
January 8th.
All right.
I second.
Oh, there you go.
My last,
Your last official job.
right.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
No, it was his penultimate job. His ultimate job was to say aye.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
That was a good meeting.
Bye, Melissa.
Bye, Melissa. Great to see you.